Emily believed she was finally alone. The long double shift at the hospital had drained every ounce of strength from her body, and all she wanted was the safety of her apartment and a few hours of sleep. The cold October wind sliced through the streets of Chicago, carrying the damp smell of rain and concrete. Her shoes echoed softly against the sidewalk as she walked, her nurse's bag slung over one shoulder. Then she felt it. Footsteps. Not one pair, 3. They weren't rushed or careless. They were steady. Intentional. Emily slowed her pace, pretending to check her phone. The footsteps stopped. When she started walking again, they followed. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears as her fingers tightened around her bag. Reflections in shallow puddles revealed dark silhouettes trailing her from a distance. Panic crept up her spine. Her apartment building finally came into view, and she hurried toward it, fumbling with the entry code. The glass door clicked shut just as 3 men turned the corner behind her. She didn't wait to see if they stopped. She ran for the elevator, pressing the button over and over. When the doors closed, she leaned against the wall, shaking. Maybe she was imagining things. Exhaustion did that to people. The elevator dinged on the 4th floor. Relief vanished. The hallway was dim and silent. And standing between her and her apartment were the same 3 men. They had beaten her upstairs. One stepped forward, a crooked smile stretching across his face. Leather jacket. Cold eyes. Confidence born from knowing she was trapped. "Long night?" he asked casually. Emily backed up until her shoulders hit the wall. "Please," she said, forcing the words out. "My husband is inside." The man laughed. "We saw you walk in alone." They moved closer. Her breath caught in her throat. The pepper spray in her bag felt impossibly far away. Then, a soft chime echoed down the hallway. Another elevator opened. A tall man stepped out, calm and composed, dressed in simple workout clothes. Beside him stood a massive German shepherd, alert and powerful, its amber eyes scanning the scene. The hallway froze. The man didn't raise his voice. He didn't rush. He simply said one word. "Watch." The dog transformed instantly. Its growl was deep, controlled, and terrifying, an ancient warning that vibrated through the floor. It stepped forward, placing itself between Emily and the men, teeth bared, muscles coiled. The confidence drained from the attackers' faces. "I said," the man continued quietly, "leave. Now." Fear won. One by one, the men backed away and fled down the stairwell, the door slamming behind them. Silence returned. Emily slid down the wall, shaking, tears threatening to fall. The man turned to her, his voice suddenly gentle. "You're safe now." And for the first time that night, she believed. Morning sunlight crept through Emily's kitchen blinds, painting soft golden lines across the counter. The storm from the night before was gone, but its memory clung to her like a shadow. She moved slowly, carefully, as if the hallway outside might still be watching her breathe. On the counter, a tray of freshly baked blueberry muffins cooled beside a wicker basket. Baking had always been her way of calming her nerves, something warm, predictable, and human. With a steadying breath, Emily stepped into the hallway and knocked on apartment 4B. The door opened to reveal Jack, looking entirely different in daylight, still strong, still alert, but softer somehow. Gunnar sat beside him, tail thumping against the floor, eyes bright and intelligent. "I wanted to thank you properly," Emily said, holding out the basket. "For last night." Jack hesitated, then smiled faintly. "You didn't have to. I wanted to." Inside, his apartment was neat and minimal, every object placed with purpose. Gunnar sniffed the basket eagerly. "He loves blueberries," Jack said with a rare chuckle. As they sat, Emily noticed a faint scar along Gunnar's side. Jack followed her gaze. "Shrapnel," he explained. "He took it during a breach overseas. Saved my team leader." Emily's breath caught. This wasn't just a dog. This was a warrior. Jack's tone shifted. "Emily, those men weren't random. They weren't after your purse. They were after you. Or something you had access to." Before she could respond, a knock interrupted them. Martha. The elderly woman entered with a knowing look and a folded newspaper under her arm. "I didn't want to worry anyone," she said, lowering her voice, "but I've seen a blue van parked outside for days. And one of those men was inside the lobby reading names off the buzzers." Emily felt the blood drain from her face. They walked back to Emily's apartment together. When she tried her key, it jammed. Jack leaned in, eyes narrowing. Fresh scratches marred the lock. "Someone tried to get in," he said. Gunnar sniffed the door and stiffened, releasing a sharp warning bark. "They've been here," Jack confirmed grimly. For the first time, Emily understood something chilling. This wasn't over. Jack didn't waste time. Within hours, Emily's front door was reinforced with steel screws and a heavy-duty deadbolt. Gunnar paced the apartment like a silent sentinel, memorizing every corner, every scent. Fear still lingered, but it no longer owned the room. Jack turned the living space into a training ground. Space equals time, he told her. And time saves lives. He taught her how to break a grip, where to strike, how to scream with purpose. Emily's arms burned. Sweat soaked her shirt. But with every movement, confidence replaced helplessness. Later they walked to the nearby park. Families laughed. Children played. Life looked normal, but Gunnar knew better. His body stiffened. Across the park, partially hidden behind a tree, stood a man holding up a phone. The same one with the toothpick. The moment Gunnar locked eyes with him, the man ran. "Seize," Jack commanded. Gunnar exploded forward, clearing benches, teeth snapping inches from the man's ankle as he dove into a waiting car. The vehicle sped off, tires screaming. Jack clipped the leash back on, jaw tight. They're escalating. That night, the psychological attacks began. Phone calls at 3 a.m., heavy breathing. A warped nursery rhyme. Then the package. A broken porcelain doll. Dead roses. A note, finders keepers. Jack bagged it without hesitation. They want you scared enough to leave. Instead, Jack made a call. Sergeant O'Connor. This crew is tied to Marcus Thorne, O'Connor warned. If they're hunting, it's for something big. That evening, chaos took a brief pause when Martha fell on the stairs. Jack carried her like family. Emily stayed by her side at the hospital. For a few hours, the world felt safe again. Then the power went out. Not the whole block. Just their building. Jack stood in darkness, Gunnar beside him, listening. Leather scraping on carpet. Someone was creeping through the hall. This time they weren't leaving notes. Emily heard the crowbar bite into her door. Wood cracked. Metal screamed. She fled to the bathroom, locking the door, heart pounding so violently it hurt. One message left her shaking fingers. They're breaking in. Jack didn't hesitate. He moved through the darkness like a ghost, flanking through the balcony. Inside Emily's apartment, flashlights sliced through shadows as the intruders tore the place apart. Then Gunnar struck. Not barking. Not warning. Hunting. A man flew backward as 80 pounds of controlled fury hit him mid-step. Screams shattered the night. Panic replaced confidence. Jack entered the room like a storm. One attacker fell in seconds. But the leader grabbed Emily, knife to her throat. Time slowed. Emily remembered the lesson. She stomped down with everything she had. The leader screamed. The knife slipped. Attack, Jack roared. Gunnar launched. The fight ended in seconds. Police sirens arrived soon after. Diamonds were found hidden beneath the floor, millions in stolen stones. The truth came spilling out with the dawn. Days later, the building gathered on the rooftop. Laughter replaced fear. Gunnar accepted praise like a hero. Martha told the story louder than anyone. Jack prepared to leave. His mission called him elsewhere. Emily held Gunnar's old collar in her hands as Jack promised, "I'll come back." As the jeep disappeared down the street, Gunnar looked back one last time. Emily smiled through tears. She was safe. She was stronger. And she knew, some angels walk on four legs.